All right. Welcome into the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's Design District. We are the Radio Misfits, Dallas, RadioMisfits.com. Sorry for being a little bit late today. Fridays are always going to be just a little bit late. We have other shows in here producing and doing things on Friday mornings. A couple of Wednesdays as well, but just for the record, in the future, you can always expect us to be about 15 minutes late or so on Fridays. Just got to get everything right. And I struggled today for about 20 minutes trying, and this is, I want to make absolutely clear, just in case somebody who was recording earlier hears this. This has nothing to do with them. This has to do with me and how I have once again failed myself. So the studio gets broken down when other studios come in because they use different backdrops and different looks and all that kind of stuff. And so my stuff gets moved off to the side. It rolls away and another one rolls in. Very pro. But what I need to do is I need to put tape on the floor and mark where I like my lights, where I like the TV, where I like the desk, where I like the mic. And I know that I should do this, but I've never done it. Because I've been like, that'll take 15 minutes. When I could be just, scrolling TikTok. So I apologize. It took me a little more time to get it right, and it still ain't right. This ain't right, but we're going to muster ahead. We're going to keep going. How does it sound? Is the sound okay? That's another big fear I have on these days when I have to put everything back together. I'm like, is the sound bad? Do we need Ed? Do we need it? Say hi to the chat room. Some of you folks, please let me know if the sound's okay. Leslie C is here. Look at her. We got Jeff. We got April. We got Al. We got Cam. Taronda, of course. Peter L. Is Peter L. our executive producer for today? I think he might be. That's right. Thank you, Peter L. Peter L. tipped yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure. We don't get tips every day, but we do appreciate it when we do get them. And if you want to support this kind of talk radio, which is the kind of talk radio that doesn't just rely on one's political ideology to form an opinion, this is a show for everybody. And you want to support that, you can help out by dropping something in the Venmo or the Cash App. That's how the show runs. It runs on your tips. I'm a bartender with opinions. So how you doing? All right, so let's talk about what everybody is wondering about, because I know that you are all as wrapped up in my private life as I am, and you know that I always Thursday nights we got the big football game, kids football, Texas high school football, Thursday night lights. There's no such thing as Thursday night lights. We're still at the junior varsity level. We don't get to go on Friday nights, but boy, oh boy, better be ready when we do. So my son's team. Again, for those of you who may not be familiar, last year they went undefeated. They were just an absolute juggernaut. And so we had high expectations for this year. And we started out the season with a big win over Royce City. And we're like, here we go again, bitches. Like 500-point differential. Let's do it 2 years in a row. So we beat the first team. Then we went on the road, and we were incredibly lackluster. There was no energy. It was hot, but so what? It's Texas. You're used to playing when it's hot. They lost their first game in a year. And I've blacked that game out. I don't even want to give credit to what school it is. I don't think it's some school and I don't know where it is. I don't know. It's up there by Portillo's. You know where Portillo's is off 121? It was up in that area. That's where the school was. So my kids' team goes in there week 2, feeling themselves like they're unbeatable, and they get beat. Ha ha! I laughed and I was like, ha ha! Yeah, you guys deserve to get beat. You guys, you had no emotion on the sideline. What were you guys sleeping out there? You didn't get one first down. They sucked. They absolutely sucked in that game. So I was worried, right? So now we're moving into week 3, and week 3 comes, and they blow out the team in week 3, so they're 2-1, and we're like, okay, maybe they are truly this great team that went undefeated last year, and they just caught a hiccup in the second game of the year. Good teams sometimes get caught, right? Trap games or whatever. I don't know. But that's how we got to tell it to ourselves, because now we're 2-1, and last night was the big district game. Oh, my God. It was against West. We're East. We were playing West. It was a home game. West was coming to us, but oh my God, when West plays East, You better batten the hatches and put the dogs in the basement. Is that a saying? Is that a saying? Could be. Let's make that a saying. Batten the hatches and put the dogs in the basement. I like that. I don't think it deserves that sound effect. So West came in, and this was a test because this is our arch rival, Panther Pride, baby. And I didn't know what we were looking at because last year West was the team that came closest to beating us. West, we beat West last year, but I remember it was like we had to do a drive at the end of the game to win it. But we beat them. Yay! District champs. So West comes in yesterday, and I was telling you about how nervous I was because I don't know what I'm looking at in this kid's team. They're 2-1, but who knows? First of all, it's 105 degrees there at Kimbrough Stadium. 105 degrees, 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm sitting out there. Oh, my God. Oh, also, my bio mom and bio dad got in trouble from bio kid. I sit, well, we're all one big happy family. But we sit together and we watch the games. And the other team, West, they made a really good play on offense. It was a really good play, and it happened right in front of us. And because my son only plays offense, he was sitting on the bench with the other linemen. And you have to understand where we set up. We set up right behind that bench. His bio mom and dad and stepdad. We set up right behind the bench, and we're only about 5 yards away from him because we're in the first row of the stadium stands. And he's right there. And so honestly, if we want to talk to him, this is our tone. It'd be like, "Hey, Mace. Yeah, what you want to pick you up McDonald's after this?" Like that's the tone, that's the volume. I don't have to yell. He's right there. So the other team makes a really good play, and his mom, bio mom, and me, we like both reacted like, "Oh my God, all right!" And I even stood up and went, "Respect for that play, West." Oh my God. Like my kid turned around, our kid turned around. He looked at the two of us, and I swear to God, we were both like, "Ooh, I know what that look is." Ooh, he didn't like that. So yeah, so West had one good play, and that's all they had, folks, because it was an absolute ass beating. 36-0. Good guys win. 36-0. Everybody scored. They're handing out touchdowns on that team. Punt return team, you get a touchdown. Kickoff team, you get a touchdown. Offense, you get a couple touchdowns. Defense, that sack fumble went for 6. You get a touchdown. Oh, it was great. They look good. Now watch next week. They'll come out flat. Like, see, we told you we were good. And then they'll get steamrolled by a bunch of 16-year-olds from Flower Mound. All right, so that was the game yesterday. I'm a little on edge today. And you're going to have to let me vent this because I know when I vent and start screaming and get really mad, it's a bad look. I know, but I can't control it. And today's absolute unhinged rant is going to go on 3 kinds of people that I share the road with every morning. 3 kinds of jerk-offs. That's right, jag-offs. I yelled jag-off. So look at that, jag-off. All right, so here they are. We're going to go through this list one by one. These are the people on the road that just fuck you, okay? All right, first of all, it's the guy downtown, not even downtown. What is this, like Victory? I don't even know what they call it. You know where House of Blues is and the Perot Museum is around the corner and you got the House of Blues and Dick's. All right, so it's that guy who drives around in that neighborhood every day with like a fucking gigantic dually pickup. Fuck you, dude. With your urban cowboy bullshit. This is a big city, motherfucker. There are a lot of people sharing this road with you, Mr. Biggins. Can't see anything. You can't see anything. Trying to merge onto 75, and I look at my rearview mirror, and I got some gigantic red fucking dually. I'm like, I can't see around it. I may as well have a fire truck behind me. So fuck that guy. God damn it, man. Those are great. I love those trucks. Beautiful trucks. They're like Cadillacs. And they're wonderful. If you live on a ranch where you're not interacting with like millions of other people in traffic who are trying to see around you. Same goes for you D-bags 10, 15 years ago driving around in Hummers. Fuck you. You're not in a war zone, dude. Little cars, man. There's a million people in this little congested area. We're all sharing the roads together. Half of these fucks are in Priuses. Nobody can see around you. All right, that's category 1. So that was the second guy that I got sideways with today on the roads. First guy I got sideways with was some asshole coming out of SMU, turning on to 75, not 75 proper, but 75 the access road from SMU. You know, Mockingbird right there. So I'm in the turning lane, and it's red, and I know I can turn, but there's traffic coming, so I'm waiting. And then I see a cop coming, right? And so I could have pulled in front of the cop, but why the fuck would I do that? I'm just going to let the cop go. I'd rather have the cop go in front of me than behind me. I mean, I'm not illegal or anything, but still, you know what I mean? I'm going to wait. I'm going to let this cop go. You go ahead, cop. Cop goes, and I could see like the guy behind me is probably some SMU jagoff in a Lamborghini. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the cop to make the turn. And this guy in the Lamborghini behind me goes, whoop, 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 like he's trying to like tell me to go. I'm like, fuck you and your Lamborghini, dude. I'm Mr. Chevy Malibu. I am moving at my own pace, D-bag. So then I finally do move. And I make the right turn, and I'm on the access road. And I think for a second, maybe I'm going to get on 75. But then I realize, oh, you know what? I'm not going to get on 75. I am instead going to get gas at the Shell station that's right up here on the service road or the access road, whatever we call it. So I put my turn signal on briefly, right? Briefly, like I'm going to 75 and then change my mind. Well, in that brief moment, Mr. Lamborghini decided that he was going to punch it into 6th gear and he was going to go and he was going to go around me. Well, guess what this asshole did? Tried to go around me, but because I never turned, he ended up on the shoulder. And then while he's on the shoulder, he guns it. And I look, it happened so fast. Idiot in his Lamborghini. And all I'm thinking is, what fucking pro sports team do you play for, jerk off? Because that's not how you drive in this neighborhood. All right, that's 2. That's 2. We got the dude in the giant dually in downtown Dallas. You fucking poser. You got that dude, and then you got Lamborghini jagoff. Couldn't even see tinted windows too. I'm like, somebody pull him over. Wanted to see if it was like a 7-foot black guy. Then I'd be like, Maverick. But can 7-footers, can they fit in these things? I don't know. All right, third guy is asshole. I don't even know what he's on. You're like on some gay motorcycle. It's not even a motorcycle. It's like a gay motorcycle. You know, where you look at it and you're like, is that a scooter or is that a motorcycle? All right, this guy who just can't be held down by traffic in downtown Chicago, so he's got to do the little in and out of traffic. He whips around me. I briefly, because I'm a good driver, check my blind spot and I don't see anything. So I start to turn. And guess what? There was a dude on a gay scooter. And by the way, I mean that in the playground gay sense, the way I used to call everything gay when I was 13. I don't mean it as any sort of indictment of a lifestyle choice or a sexual orientation. Those are the 3 people who can just go to hell this Friday. People driving dualies in downtown Dallas, people driving Lamborghinis around SMU. And a dude on like a gay bike who just, doesn't realize how small and how tiny he is and how nobody can see him. All right, thank you. That's our rant. Yeah, I am a little spicy today. I'm not feeling well. Here's another thing. The allergies are worse today than they have been all week. I'm in a bad mood. I got no sleep last night. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. Woke up at 4. Oh, God. All right, here you go. You ever have this happen? I shouldn't have woken up at 4:30 in the morning, but guess what happened to me at 4:30 in the morning? All right, this might fall into the category of too much information, but I don't care because that's what we do here, and this is a very human thing. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older. This is more of a project these days. It's not really more of a project. Anyway, so I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I go to the bathroom. That's normal. I usually wake up around 5, whatever, go to the bathroom and then go back to bed. Everything's fine. No harm, no foul. I understand this is common. So this morning I do it at 4:30 in the morning. I go to the bathroom. I jump back in bed and I tried to pass wind in bed. I sleep alone. I was just like going to, and I noticed that, wait a second, you need to stop that in its tracks and wake the fuck up because you got to go back to the bathroom. And I did. I went back to the bathroom at 4:30 in the morning. I had a bowel movement. I had what would normally be like a 9 a.m. bowel movement. I had it at 4:30. And guess what happens after that? You don't go back to sleep. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm up now. So I took the stupid dog out for a walk at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm a little bit spicy today. What is it, noon? I've already been up 12 hours. 8 hours? Let's say hi to some people in the chat room because you're all the best, even when I'm in a bad mood. Frankie B is here. He's hanging out. He says, I ride and I assume no one sees me. I'm alive. Yeah, no one sees you, Frankie B. No one sees you. And I got no problem with people who ride. I got a problem with people who ride like idiots. Kind of the same thing with guns. Motorcycles and guns kind of occupy the same argument in my head. I don't care if you have them. I just want you to be cool with it. Don't be a dick about it. Let's see here. What did I just do? I did something stupid. There we go. All right. Once again, thank you to Peter. Peter is our executive producer today. Peter L. Thank you so much. All right, here's how we do this rant. Every day I give you all the day's news, everything that's happening in the world, at least as far as I see it. I put it together and I perform it in a rant, a stream of consciousness rant, just me talking. 4 quarters, you all know this. It's not just a completely random spewing of information. It is kind of categorized. We do it in 4 categories, 4 quarters. First is called Antecedently on This Day. That's a history. We go through the history of the day. 2 is birthdays. That's self-explanatory. 3 is deads. We take people who died on this day and then we go, hey, where'd they go? Heaven or did they go to hell? Quarter 4 is everything else. It's all the other things we got to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of stuff going on. I am extra spicy. Fast Outdoor says, hey. And you know what I say to Fast Outdoor? I say, hey, right back. Hey, right back, you glorious son of a bitch. What's going on? Breaking news. Secret Service lack of communication, drone issues plagued agency at Trump rally. All right. Look at this guy. The guy at the podium. Chicks, how do we like that look? Chicks with their sunglasses on top of their head. That's what this reporter right here's got going on. Look, she's got her sunglasses. I think that's kind of a hot look. All right. So yeah, I pooped myself awake. And I've been up since 4:30. Oh, look at that. Lost 4 people in the chat room. That's what happens when you tell stories about bowel movements. Not everybody's as into them as you are. All right, let's get started with quarter 1, all right? Let's get the show started. It is a rant. It is the rant for the 20th day of September, year of our Lord, 2024. There are 264 days gone in the year. That means, whoo, brother, 102 until New Year's. We're less than 100 days from Christmas. We're 95 days from Christmas. 95 days from Christmas. So for all you people who are like, I went to Target and I saw Christmas stuff. Stop your complaining. Shut up. Who hates Christmas? You? Really? That's going to be your brand this year? You're going to be the guy who hates Christmas? Screw off. All right, let's get started. The first thing we do is called Antecedently on This Day. What that is a look at this day in history. How we understand this day to have performed in the past. Previously on September the 20th. Antecedently on this day in 1962, James Meredith, an African-American, is temporarily barred from entering the University of Mississippi. We talk about this. We mentioned it a couple of days ago when there was another big piece of news concerning James Meredith. But it blows me away that just a couple of years before I was born, we were still not letting black kids go to college. Come on, man. That is like recent. Antecedently on this day in 1973, Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes. Battle of the Sexes tennis match. Big tennis match. Remember this day? 1973, Billie Jean King, Bobby Riggs. He was the male chauvinist pig, and she needs to be in the kitchen making her husband dinner. Bobby, she doesn't want to be doing much with her husband. Her husband, Billie Jean's husband, was for show, Bobby. We would find that out about 15 years later. Anyway, so this was a really big thing. It's a good example of what I always like to say, that we like to get ginned up. They like to gin us up because when they gin us up, they can control us with nonsense. The idea with the battle of the sexes here was that Billie Jean King was a pretty good female tennis player. I think some might say the best in the world at the time. Bobby Riggs was nothing more than a loudmouth, sometimes pro, who was known among a certain social class as a country club tennis pro hustler. That's who Bobby Riggs was. He wasn't like a big famous guy. He became a big famous guy because of this. But they ended up playing a game of tennis, Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King, and there was all kinds of build-up, and the whole country got lathered up and, that whole thing. And they hated each other. Male chauvinist pig, and, all that stuff. And you are just a dumb whore. I don't think he went that far. But that was the kind of tone that we were getting between these two, ginning us all up. It was all a bit, ladies and gentlemen. It was all a bit. Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs were in on this. They were friendly with each other. They played it to the hilt like a good wrestling match. And didn't Billie Jean King kick his ass? As everybody was like, she's totally going to kick his ass. He's like a 55-year-old chain-smoking alcoholic who hasn't played competitive tennis in 20 years. And she's the best female athlete in the world. That was on this day in 1973. On this day in 1982, the NFL season, American Football League players go on strike, a 57-day strike. Now, is this the big one? Is this the one where in Chicago we had what are lovingly known as the Spare Bears? They were these Scab Bears. 1982. God, I was 13 years old. Holy shit. Do you know how big a problem for me this strike was in my life? In 1983, NFL football was pretty much, it was all I lived for. And then they go on strike, and I'm 13. I have nothing else to look forward to. 57-day strike. Antecedently on this day in the year 2001, in a joint address, that's what this is. Oh, today's the day, 2001, that George W. Bush first declared a war on terror. War on terror. We hadn't heard those words put together in quite that way, and well, there we are. Are we still in a war on terror? I think that's sort of a war that's always going to go on, right? Anytime we see terror, we will be at war against said terror. War on terror declared on this day in 2001. On this day, antecedently, in the year 2011, the United States military ends its don't ask, don't tell policy, which allowed gay men and women to serve openly for the first time. Don't ask, don't tell. This was something that progressives loved at the time, but they quickly turned on it. After about 10 years, it became an embarrassment, but at the time, it was considered a victory for progressives. Clinton didn't go so far as to declare that you could be gay in the military, but he basically said, hey, leave them alone. Basically said, don't ask them about it, and they won't tell you about it. I think the policy just from the very beginning concerning all manner of sexual orientation when it comes to the United States military is, 1, do you love this country and want to fight for it? Yeah, okay. 2, shut the fuck up about who you're hot for. How about that? Whoa, but you can have men and women dating in the military. Can you? Isn't that illegal? I thought that was illegal. I don't know. I don't know what my take on don't ask, don't tell is now. I'm trying to think about it. Is it better? So is it better? Let's revisit this. Okay, first of all, my position is this. If a gay dude wants to serve in the military or a lesbian woman, which I imagine lesbian women might be really effective, I would think they should be allowed to. What would the problem be? The problem would be it would be a distraction. They'd start holding hands with each other, and what would happen to the morale of the rest of the troops? So I guess my answer to that would be, well, that sounds like a problem for the rest of the troops. That sounds like what are we doing with the military? Are we mandating a lower level of social acceptance simply because you think the idiots that are in the military won't accept 2 dudes holding hands? Well, maybe they should. Maybe that's how these things change, by seeing it, by normalizing. I don't know, man. I just know I don't care if gay guys want to be in the military. And I think lesbians make probably great warriors. All right. There you go. It was on this day in 2011. Let's do birthdays. Let's talk about people who were born on this day. Want 'em, want 'em, want 'em. They claim it's their birthday. Born on this day in 1929, the great Ann Mira. I like Ann Mira. Ann Mira is Ben Stiller's mom. Ann Mira. Ann Mira was on Archie Bunker's Place. Ann Mira. Ann Mira was on, games like Tattletales, and not Tattletales. No, she wasn't on that. But Password, Hollywood Squares. Ann Mira, 70s comedy icon. Married to Jerry Stiller. Remember Jerry from, George Costanza's dad, and then later from King of Queens? They were Stiller and Mira. Ann Mira was born on this day in 1929. Born on this day in 1934, Sophia Loren. Overrated. Sophia Loren. Shut up, you old dudes. You would only at this point, you didn't have access to the internet. You didn't have like Google Images or anything. You didn't have any good porn. The only attractive women, you old dudes who thought Sophia Loren and Marilyn Monroe were like bangers, you guys had seen like 10 hot chicks in your entire life. Seriously. It's a harder ball game to be a super hot smoking chick these days. Back then, it was just like, let's take a look at Sophia Loren, okay? Because look, I'll admit that she's pretty, just like I admit that Marilyn Monroe is pretty. Marilyn Monroe's a cute girl who works at the Gap. That's who Marilyn Monroe is. Marilyn Monroe is a top 10 cutest chick in your high school. That's who Marilyn Monroe is. She ain't the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm tired of this. I'm like, she's got a fat face. Her hair is weird. She's got big fat hips and probably cellulite. Stop it with Marilyn Monroe is beautiful. And Margaret, however, see, there's just better examples. And yet for some reason, we always hear about Anne Margaret and Sophia Loren. So let's take a look at Sophia Loren. All right, let's see. First of all, they're probably going to give us an old picture of Sophia Loren. So there it is. All right, so here it is. This is what she ended up being, with all due respect. Remember now, Sophia Loren is sort of the Pepsi to Marilyn Monroe's Coke. When you ask dudes from that era, who was the hottest, Grandpa, who was the hottest, he'll say Marilyn Monroe, or then Sophia Loren. It'll be one of these two. All right, there she is. Italian actress Sophia Loren. She looks good. Again, though, I'll point out, Audrey Hepburn and Anne Margaret, both hotter than this woman. All right, I might be wrong about that. All right. If this is prime Sophia Loren, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. And it's not only pretty good, it leaves Marilyn Monroe in the dust. Marilyn Monroe, like I said, she's like one of the 10 cutest girls you went to high school with. This is the hottest girl at your university. This is the hottest girl at Penn State. Or, whatever. Yeah, she's pretty good. I might have to change my take on Sophia Loren. She's pretty good. This is a good picture to evaluate on because it's not overly sexual. You're not like going, oh, look at her tits. You're not doing that. You're just looking at a female's face and beauty and going, huh. She's beautiful. The fuck? Oh, man. You guys, life is so cruel. Life is so cruel. Oh, God love her. See, that's what happens. It happens to all of us. I'm okay with it because I was never handsome. I was always just kind of like, he's a 5. I was always that. So as I get worse, it's, could possibly even go in the other direction. I could be most handsome at 70. Okay, very pretty. I like the glasses. I like the choker. I love that. That's a thing I like. I like when women decorate their necks. I don't know why. Weird. It's a kink. Bad haircut. This is a bad haircut. That's a bad picture. It's a beautiful grandma. That's what she is. I'm losing it. She's okay there, but why is she dressed like that? All right, it doesn't matter. There was one really good picture of Sophia Loren. It's her birthday. I stand corrected. She actually is pretty damn beautiful, at least going by that one picture. Born on this day in 1934, Italian actress Sophia Loren. Born on this day in 1948, how about George R.R. Morton? Morton? Yes. George R.R. Morton is the writer of the Riddle of Thrones novels that everybody loves. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. It's a little different. It's Riddle of Thrones. And it's George R.R. Morton, George R.R. Martin is having a birthday today. So I love Game of Thrones, and so all this nonsense pours out of this guy's brain, which I really like. Have you ever seen this guy though? he's so weird. Like, first of all, he does that thing that a lot of really heavy guys do. Really, really heavy, obese guys, because they cannot dress in clothes that are readily available because they have to have special clothes and they have to go to big and tall and all that. Really heavy guys oftentimes tend to sort of create their own fashion look. It's always terrible. You think of Rerun with the suspenders and like the big baggy pants, and you think of George R.R. Martin with like, he kind of dresses like a little bit like a pirate, but then he also wears like berets and silly hats, and I don't know, George R.R. Martin. It's his birthday. Like I say, I love him. I love the whole Game of Thrones universe, but he's a dork. All right, how about this? Let's send out, we've got a couple of these today. We've got a couple of rock and roll twins whose birthdays we need to celebrate. Born on this day in 1948, Chucky and Johnny Panazzo, the Panazzo brothers. Pugs, who the fuck are the Panazzo brothers? You know what? Who are the Panazzo brothers? You say, this is like how everyone in Dallas knows who the Abbott brothers are. Like if you were like the Abbott brothers, the Pantera, Vinnie Paul and Dime, the Abbott brothers. And like when I moved down here, I'm like, I don't know the Abbott brothers. I know Dimebag Darrell is a guitar player for Pantera, but that's pretty much where, and this is when I first moved. The Panazzo brothers are that in Chicago. Styx, man. Come on. Drummer and bass player for Styx. Now, let me tell you something about Styx. One of the most underrated things about this band, and there are a lot of underrated things about the band Styx. I personally think that they are a top 10 band of all time, one of my all-time favorites. Catalog goes deep with fuzzy memories from both the 70s and the 80s. Here's one of the great things about Styx that I think is truly underrated, and it makes sense because of what I'm telling you here. Their rhythm section is like fantastic. If they had chosen to be like an R&B band or something like that, their rhythm section could have pulled it off. You know why? Because their bass player and drummer are fucking twins. They're twins. You always want your bass player and your drummer to be in sync. You want them to be in rhythm with each other. That's why you call them in a band the rhythm section, the bass player and the drummer. These guys are twins, man. You telling me that doesn't help? I love Styx. I want to play Blue Collar Man so hard right now. I want that to be the theme song for anything that Come on. Styx, the Panazzo brothers, born on this day in 1948. Born on this day in 1956, Gary Cole. Love Gary Cole. Love Gary Cole in everything. Talk about an underrated sleeper actor. Who's Gary Cole? Well, he played Mike Brady in the Brady Bunch movies. Remember when the Brady Bunch movies came out? But he's most known for being the dude from Office Space. Yeah, we're going to need you to come in on Saturday. You know that guy? That dick? Gary Cole. You guys watch Veep? He was one of the stars of Veep on HBO. He was so funny. So deadpan funny. Gary Cole, love that guy. Midnight Caller. You guys remember that show? He did a show like in the early 90s, Midnight Caller, where he was like a late night radio host. I used to watch it all the time. It was a terrible show, but I wanted to be a late night radio host. So Midnight Caller, Gary Cole, born on this day in 1956. Born on this day in 1967. I promised you more than one musical twins. And here we go. Gunnar and Matthew Nelson. That's right. Nelson. Remember the two albino kids? They were like Ozzy and Harriet's grandchildren. I guess Ricky Nelson's kid. But they were like albinos and they played metal music. Yeah, that was them. Gunnar and Matthew. I guess they weren't really albinos. They looked like it though, right? All right, we got to see this now. I got to see Nelson. We got to see what they look like. Because I swear to God, when they first came out, before I knew, I thought they were albinos. I thought they were like Johnny and Edgar Winter. I just thought they were a more handsome Johnny and Edgar Winter. Because they're albinos, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. I don't know. Let's see what these guys look like. Nelson, Gunnar, Matthew. There we go. All right, here. Why did I think they were albinos? Oh, I don't want these pictures. These are not the pictures that I want. This is like modern Nelson. Now they just look like two blonde guys. But they used to look like Targaryens. Like we were just talking about George R.R. Martin. They looked like the Targaryen hair metal band. That's what, oh man. That's what they, Targaryens. Look at them here. Look at them. Handsome dudes, you know. There they are. That's the Targaryens. There they are. That's what they used to look like. Yeah, see this. They look like, yeah, I shouldn't be shamed for thinking they were binos. All right, there you go. That's right. I just made up a nickname for people who are albinos. I casually called them binos, like that's something that people use. I'm tired of all these binos moving into my neighborhood and eating cats. Gunnar and Matthew Nelson, born on this day in 1967. Born on this day in 1976, John Bernthal. John Bernthal. Who do you love him from? You love him from The Walking Dead? Huh? He's great in The Walking Dead. John Bernthal. Who did he play in that? What was his name? Shane? Do I want to say Shane? Is that it? Do you love him from the Punisher films? Huh? John Bernthal. Didn't he also do, didn't he do something else? I think he did something else. I don't know. I guess now he's most well known for being one of the stars of the Bear, the Hulu show that wins all the awards. John Bernthal is on the Bear. He plays, he gets a lot of work for a guy who portrays a character who died before the series begins. John Bernthal plays the older brother who committed suicide, who is the reason that, Carmy comes back from his Michelin-starred restaurant tours of the world working as a chef and runs his family's beef stand because his brother committed suicide. John Bernthal plays that brother. And you would think that's not much of a role. That dude's had at least 4 or 5 episodes every season so far. Most, in flashbacks and stuff where they're like, remember that Thanksgiving? But anyway, good for him. I love John Bernthal. He's a great actor. I don't even know if he's a great actor. I know that I think he's cool. All right. Happy birthday, Dallas Cowboy great Trayvon Diggs. Yay! Dallas Cowboy great. Well, last year, pretty good. Take it. Oh, no, I'll take it. Trayvon Diggs, born on this day in 1998. Born on this day in 2003, and sadly not around to celebrate this, what would be his 21st birthday. God, I've been up since 4:30. I can't do math. It's 2024. He was born in 2003. It's 2024. He was born in 2003. My 4:30 a.m. poop waking brain tells me that he's 21, that he will be 21 today. Had he lived, he'd have been celebrating. Had he lived. I didn't even tell you who it is. It's Donald Trump assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks. Thomas Matthew Crooks would have been celebrating a birthday today. Yeah, that's too bad. Wayne, my buddy Wayne. Look at my buddy Wayne. My buddy Wayne is saying they're not albinos, the Gunnar Nelsons. Nah, I don't care. In my heart, they'll always be albinos. All right, let's talk about deads. These are people who've died on this day. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. Let's talk about them and decide whether they went to heaven or hell. We don't have a truly great selection of people who died. But okay, so we'll start it out with this one. Dead on this day, Fiorello H. LaGuardia, American lawyer, politician, and mayor of New York City. Fiorello LaGuardia. Now, Fiorello LaGuardia, because he's a politician, we've got a couple of prerequisites for who goes to hell instantly. Politicians go to hell no matter what, with the exception, like if you're Lincoln, okay, I'll make an exception. If you're Washington, I'll make an, But for the most part, politicians go to hell. Football coaches, especially football coaches who coached college football in the 1990s and 80s, they go straight to hell. And actresses, of course. Any actress that dies, she goes to hell, because my experience with actresses are that they are some of the worst people on the planet. They're always looking for a reason to turn the smallest situation into some big dramatic, emotional thing. I always tell this story about the actress I dated in Chicago when I was in college, and we were going to Buddy Guy's Legends. We were going to Buddy Guy's Legends to see a band play. And we're driving around. I couldn't find a place to park. And I'm like, where? I can't find a place to park. God, we're going to be late. And we were meeting people there, So like, they can't get in with it because I actually had the passes. Yeah, we're going to be late and they're going to be waiting for us. And I was getting frustrated as I was driving around looking for a parking spot in crowded downtown Chicago on a Saturday night. So I look out peripherally and I notice my girlfriend at the time. It's not even my girlfriend. We've been out about 4 or 5 dates, but she's an actress. And I noticed that she has her face buried in her hand and that she is whimpering. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? And she turned to me and she said, I just didn't think finding a place to park would be this emotional. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Are you kidding me? I'm just venting because I'm driving and frustrated. This isn't really something to be upset about. And then immediately they clean themselves up. Like, I'm okay. I just, I always look for ways to cry on demand. She didn't say that, but that's what she should have. Anyway, actresses go to hell. And Fiorello LaGuardia, based on that criteria, him being a politician, that would probably ensure that he would have a place in hell anyway. But he's going to hell because his airport kind of fucking sucks. His airport in New York is like so sketch. Or actually, I should be honest. I haven't been to his airport in New York in probably 15 years. But it used to be so sketchy. It's like, so it is for New York people what Love Field is for us here in Dallas, or what Midway is for where I used to live in Chicago. It's the second airport. There's a much larger, bigger, busier airport, but the second one is typically the convenient one. And I will tell you that both in Chicago and in Dallas, I prefer Midway Airport and Love Field. I prefer Love Field over just about every airport on the planet, if I'm being honest. It's so convenient. LaGuardia sucks, man. LaGuardia was dirty. I remember going, ugh. All right, so he's going to hell. Fiorello LaGuardia, he goes to hell. Dead on this day in 1973, Jim Croce, American singer-songwriter. Jim Croce. Okay, preemptively. He's going to heaven. He's going to heaven. Jim Croce. He made you cry. I bet he made you cry at some point in your life. I bet you a Jim Croce song caught you at the wrong moment. Maybe it was used in a movie for dramatic effect or something, and you caught yourself getting all choked up. Jim Croce. That dude, that son of a bitch, that dude was so prolific. He died in 1973. He had like, you ever go through a Jim Croce greatest hits, and you're like, holy shit, did this guy crank out a lot of very, very important material in a very short period of time. It's interesting to think of what he would be. Like, would he be, after all that time, like now, 2024, if he was still cranking out, who would he be? Would he be Dylan? Would he be Springsteen? Or would he be, I don't know, it doesn't matter. He's going to heaven. Jim Croce, that's pretty good. Dead on this day in 1973, plane crash. Dead on this day in 2005, Simon Wiesenthal. Simon Wiesenthal's going to heaven. We're not going to have any conversations about it. Simon Wiesenthal is a Holocaust survivor and a civil rights activist, and just an old man who's like been through hell. So he's going to heaven. Simon Wiesenthal. Of course, you may have heard of the Simon Wiesenthal Center, which is the world's foremost center on, I don't know, racists or something like that. All right, there you're going to go. There you're going to go. Half a retard over here. There you're going to go. All right, let's once again thank Peter L. Peter L. is our executive producer of the show today. That means he tipped the most yesterday. This show runs on your tips if you want to support this kind of talk radio, the kind of talk radio that doesn't rely on any political ideology or nonsense like that. I'm just a normal dude screaming about normal shit, and I don't care how you voted. I don't. Doesn't matter to me. I will judge you. Don't get me wrong. I will judge you. So what I would tell you is just let's not be political ever around each other. So if you support that kind of radio, drop a little something there on either the Venmo or the Cash App. It'd be greatly appreciated. This show has been going on every day for 3 years, and it's simply because you people are kind, you people are generous, and you people are also enablers. Seriously, I should not be doing this for 3 years, but thank you. I mean, it's Good. Thank you. Al says, did you know that Jim Croce was a student DJ? I didn't know that. Was he a Cub Scout too? Does that have some relevance I'm missing, Al, or is it just fun fact? Because if it's just a fun fact, I can get behind that. All right, let's talk about all the things that are happening in the world today. Okay, let's get started. This are the big news. Israel and Hamas, they're still lobbing shit back and forth over the border. Israel, they blew up a whole bunch of stuff last night. Again, if you need like breaking Middle East war news, go somewhere else. Here's what you're going to get from me. You're going to get quick little rant on what I think is happening over there. Here's what I think is happening over there. The same thing that's been happening over there since 1947. Okay, so here's the problem, though. For the last couple of months, we've been told by the White House that they are working. They're so close. We are literally a tit hair away from solving peace in the Middle East. And ever since they started talking about that, is it just me? Or has it been increasingly more violent and weirder, and it doesn't seem to be stopping at all? And neither of these sides that our administration keeps saying, no, we're really close to solving this thing. It seems like the more they talk about that, the more pagers explode and missiles get lobbed and drones attack kids' soccer fields. It's an ugly, ugly situation. We haven't even mentioned what's going on in Gaza in probably 2 months. This is shit happening elsewhere. So here's the big news out of there today. The White House, the Biden administration has formally admitted, and I don't know what formally admitted though. I don't know what that means. They finally admitted, hey, you know all that stuff we were talking about, how we had Blinken over there and he was working on a deal and we were going to solve this whole thing. The White House is now admitting that there probably won't be any deal during this administration. This ain't going to get solved, and that they're going to shut up now about all the, we're so close. Remember Blinken, our Secretary of State, was going over there like every week, hanging out with people and brokering deals, and it looked like he was doing shit. Nope. Apparently it wasn't. The negotiations weren't as effective as we, the United States of America, were telling the world it was. Mark Robinson, let's talk about this guy quickly. I don't want to talk about this guy a lot because this guy's a complete fool. And if you don't look at this guy and go, oh, he's a fucking idiot. If you don't do that, and if you haven't done that months ago, then I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you. This is a black dude running for governor in North Carolina. He's a MAGA guy. He's another one of your MAGA guys. You MAGA people, you'll fucking run anybody. You have run convicted child offenders. Remember the judge? Remember the judge who used to hang out in the malls and like chase little girls around, or whatever it was, Judge Roy Moore. You fucking MAGA people were like, nah, he's fine. He can be a senator. So fuck you. You also ran Herschel Walker. The fuck is wrong with you people, man? He's a brain dead retard. And you guys are like, he can be a senator. Fuck you. Now you're running this guy, Mark Robinson. MAGA. Trump loves this fucking clown. This Mark Robinson guy is running for guy. I'm a black guy who hates black guys. That's kind of his whole bit. See, we're not racist. We like the black guy who hates other black guys. Anyway, this fool apparently used to hang out, and this is the most disturbing thing. I don't give a shit about what he said. He was in chat rooms, and he apparently said a whole bunch of things like 10 years ago. Okay, who cares? You should see the shit that I said in chat rooms 10 years ago. I don't care. Apparently, he's like, I'm a black Nazi, he declared. Or something like that. By the way, the funniest thing is Trump just a couple of months ago described this guy as he's Martin Luther King on steroids. The guy who Trump describes as Martin Luther King on steroids was once in a chat room proclaiming to be a black Nazi. I'm a black Nazi. So whatever. Okay, so I don't care about any of that shit. He might have just been a troll. He might have just been fucking with people. He seems like a troll. He really does. This dude, Mark Robinson, seems like a troll. So maybe he was just in there trolling whatever. He's not denying that these are things that came from his handle, his little online name. But what he's saying is, and this is funny, one of his excuses was it was AI generated. Even though it's timestamped 15 years ago, like long before AI was even a thing, but that was what he went with first. Okay, but here's the troubling part. It's not about what he said. Like I said, we all say stupid shit online. It's not about what he said. It's about where he said it. This fucking guy is hanging out in porn site chat rooms, just chopping it up with other perverts about shit. I gotta be honest with you. Now, I'm not a great big porn guy. I didn't know that there were chat rooms or comment sections or anything like that on porn sites. Apparently there are, because I have since investigated. And I was reading some of these things, and most of them are like, okay, so I was on, well, pull it up. Okay, does that work? Hold on, which one was it? Because I know, don't we have a whole bunch of them banned here in Texas? Like, we can't go on them. Hold on, let me see. Is it this the one that I was on? Start age verification. Okay, I consent. I love that. See, you can tell I've never been to this website before on this computer. When I tell you I'm not a perv, I'm not a perv. How do you want to confirm your... so maybe this... in order to comply with Texas law. Okay, so this is... What porn site did I see that had... I don't know. Anyway, they had comments. This guy is hanging out in porn site comment sections. If I just found out like a dude I was hanging around with likes to chop it up with dudes in porn site comments, I'd be like, I'm not hanging out with that guy anymore. That's fucking weird. That's such a random and weird thing to, one, know about, and two, be engaged with. I did see something funny though. Somebody did some parody news site. Parody news site released the story about how it's old chat room comments from Tim Waltz have been discovered, and they were from a hardcore plumbing website. Hardcore plumbing? Seriously, though. All right, so this Mark Robinson guy, he's going to fuck it up. Apparently, North Carolina is now in play. North Carolina should be red as fuck, but this guy at the top of the ticket running for governor, he's going to fuck around and he's going to lose North Carolina for Trump, which is a state that they've been counting on in the Electoral College. So anyway, Mark Robinson, he's got to step down, although apparently he can't now, right? Because last night at midnight was the deadline for him to withdraw as a candidate. So now the Republicans are stuck with this guy, this crazy guy. All right, how about this one? Here's a fun story. I like this one. This is a good story. Do you guys know who Olivia Nuzzi is? Olivia Nuzzi. Oh my God. I love Olivia Nuzzi. I don't know what she's blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but she looks good. She looks really good. She's on, what's she on a lot? I see her on MSNBC sometimes. I see her on CNN. I think she does them all. Like, I don't know. I don't watch any Fox because I just can't with those people. I mean, I also can't with MSNBC, but I do like that one chick on MSNBC. Who's the chick? She wears the glasses and she's like in her 50s, but she's still kind of hot. And she's like, used to be a financial chick. I can't think of her name, but I like her. No, I'm not describing Maria Bartiromo. She's on Fox and she's insane. Talking about this hot chick they got on MSNBC. Anyway, Olivia Nuzzi, she is the White House correspondent for the New Yorker magazine. She has been forced to, I don't think she's stepping down, but I think she's been placed on leave. Yes, she's been placed on leave because of a report. Well, first of all, let's look at her. Let's look at Nuzzi, because I got to tell you, I dig Nuzzi. I like her vibe. I like her energy. Again, I don't know what she's just like, blah, blah. She's just like a reporter who talks about smart stuff, but she has this vibe. You guys know I've been telling you, since we started this thing, how I'm a big fan of bitches. Like, just chicks that are bitches. Like, I like a hot chick that just, a dude walks up to her at a bar and she just shuts him down. She's like, get the fuck out of here, loser. Like, I love that. I love a chick who's like overly, she's got this energy. Nuzzi's got this energy. So here, let me show you what we're dealing with here. That is not a good picture. So Olivia Nuzzi has stepped away, has taken a leave from her job at the New Yorker as the White House correspondent, because apparently she's been having an affair, or at least a personal relationship, with RFK Jr. There we see the two of them. She's 31 years old. He's not that. But there she is. She is a bitch, and she is smart, and she is sexy, and she has this very, like, the way she speaks, it's like a whisper, but it's kind of sexy. Oh man, I love her. Oh, she is like the best. Sexy news lady. She's not a news lady. She's a reporter. She's not like an anchor or anything. All right, so let's see. Now, RFK Jr. is married to Cheryl Hines. Cheryl from Curb Your Enthusiasm. So, and Olivia Nuzzi, is engaged to Ryan Lizza, who is he's like a dorky guy who also is on like CNN and stuff all the time. So they're both in known public relationships. And there she is on the right. Look at her and RFK. Look at him. He's yellow. She's hot. There she is there. She's hot. There she is there. She's got like pouty lips, very angular jaw. I like her. Who's that? I don't know who that is. There she is. Look at her. Olivia Nuzzi. All right, so we're going to leave it here for a second. The New Yorker has asked her to step away because she has divulged she was involved in, they're not saying anything physical happened, but apparently there are text messages and email correspondences between Olivia Nuzzi and RFK Jr. from the last couple of months that are quite hot. And again, they're not copping to any actual physical relationship, but there was. It's just there's no evidence of that has been presented to them. What has been presented to them are text messages and stuff like that. And so she is taking a leave of absence. RFK Jr. said nothing about it. Why would he? He's married. He's like, that's a lie. She has. And she's like, I regret that I did some unprofessional things via text messages and all that. What is she doing? Is she sending RFK Jr. like, is he sending dick pics? And so what is going on here? Well, let me read it to you. Here we go. This comes from Axios, New York Magazine, not New Yorker. Those are two different things. It says here, New York Magazine Washington correspondent Olivia Nuzzi is on leave after an alleged romantic relationship with former independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy. The Big Picture says, the magazine said that in an online statement, Nuzzi acknowledged to editors, quote, that she had engaged in a personal relationship with a former subject relevant to the 2024 campaign while she was reporting on the campaign. This is a violation of the magazine's standards around conflicts of interest and disclosures. So essentially, she was assigned to do a story on RFK Jr., and so she went and she followed him around and all that kind of stuff, and apparently it got a little bit flirty, got a little bit sexy, and she's admitting that. Nuzzi said in a statement shared with outlets that, here's what she said, the nature of some communication between myself and a former reporting subject turned personal earlier this year. During that time, I did not directly report on the subject nor use them as a source, she said. The relationship was never physical. Unless you can find some proof of that, then I'll amend this statement. The relationship was never physical, said Nuzzi, but should have been disclosed to prevent the appearance of a conflict. I deeply regret not doing so immediately and apologize to those I've disappointed, especially my colleagues at New York Magazine. All right, so here's the thing about Olivia Nuzzi that kind of buried the lead on, okay? This is not the first time that she has been involved in this sort of thing. She is often, because of her beauty, because she's just really sexy, she is. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding about her. Go Google her right now or go to YouTube and look for some examples of her speaking and tell me it's just not like, oh God, she knows what she's doing. She's just being sexy lady all the time. Thank you. I appreciate that you pick up on that. It's something that I've been working on. And, oh God, is she hot? Anyway. Where's the story? We were at the story. We already had the story. Did I lose the story? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. It's not the first time that she has been accused of these kinds of things. She's often been the subject of, well, she only got that job because she's beautiful. She literally rose out of nowhere from like some college, and she got a job while she was still in college at the Blaze in like not the Blaze. Not the Daily Wire. I don't know. One of the big ones. I don't read that shit, but one of those big political Bailey things. She got a job there and she was like their college correspondent, but she rose really quickly. Why? Because all the dirty old men gave her access because people like Rudy Giuliani liked having her around. So she was like riding in cars with Rudy Giuliani and she's hanging out with all the... Anyway, she's always been accused of using her sexuality to get subjects and sources and all that. That has been the knock on Nuzzy for as long as I've been aware of her. Okay, so there, we'll establish that. So this whole thing, this is just like for a lot of people. See, another example. She is sleeping with these people, and that's how she's getting all of these stories. And she gets a lot of stories. She is a very well respected, at least in the world of the political warfare that we see these last few years. She writes good, credible stuff. She's not a fool. She's not writing for the Inquirer, but her methods and the way that she gets access has always been a bit suspect among some people. Not me, because like I said, I love it. Here's my take on this. She's sleeping her way into getting... I don't care. I've never cared about that. You're telling me that this woman slept her way into being an award-winning journalist in the New York media market, one of the most competitive. She slept her way into that. No, what she did was she probably blew a guy to get an internship, and then maybe she dated an older man who could allow her to progress through it. I don't know. These women do it all the time. I've seen women do it. It's not a big deal. I think it's great because here's the bottom line. Once you get in the room, if you can't fucking perform, it doesn't matter how hot you are or who you slept with, you're gone. You're gone. They're just using something additionally that they have that the rest of us don't, which is their sex appeal and their ability to get what they want by batting their eyelash. I don't see this as a bad thing, and I don't see it as a condemnation of women in the workplace. I don't see it as any of that. I see it as a fucking sexy person realizing they're a sexy person and using that the way any number of us would use any of our skills that we possess. That's all. She's just a hot chick. She can write, right? She's not a poser. 31 years old, hanging out with RFK Jr. All right, there you go. More on this coming, ... By the way, I like, as far as like her as a, like most of these people you can say, oh, they're right wing or they're left. I don't know what she is. I honestly don't know what she is because every time she starts talking, I just get completely enthralled with the way she speaks. That's very funny. You're so funny, Anderson. Anderson Cooper is not going to fall for it. Don't use that on Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon. Try it on Rachel Maddow. I mean, she'd go for it. Oh, Rachel. I love it when you have me on. Olivia Nuzzy out there in these streets hanging out with RFK Jr. I really want to know what Cheryl Hines would say about this. Because I know how the Cheryl David from Curb Your Enthusiasm would react to this, but I'm interested in what the real Cheryl Hines. All right, let's go. Let's see here. Springfield, Ohio, the mayor of Springfield, Ohio. That's the city where all the crazy Haitians, the people from Haiti. Remember we learned about Haiti from J.D. Vance yesterday. He thinks people from Haiti are called they're from Haiti. So apparently all the cats and dogs and geese and all that stuff, birds, whatever, they're all getting these fish. They're breaking into people's... I heard people are saying that they're breaking into people's homes and actually stealing their aquariums and then having Friday night fish fries. That's what I heard. People are saying it. Look it up. So that's what's going on in Springfield. Apparently, this stupid story about Springfield, which was never really true, and if it was true in the case of one thing, like somebody did eat an animal, okay, that's fine. There's one. Give me another. Show me where this is the kind of issue that should rise to the stage of a presidential debate. It shouldn't. It's a stupid story. It's a divisive story. It is a story specifically designed for stupid people. And it's still going on. The people of Springfield are like, fucking make it stop. Schools are doing remote learning because of bomb threats. Office buildings, municipal buildings in Springfield, Ohio, they've all been working from home because they're afraid somebody's going to come and try and blow it up because there's a bunch of idiots going, you are the people in the city who are letting the people from Haitian eat the kitty cats. They're taking these kinds of phone calls. It's fucked up. And it's all because of a certain political wing talking nonsense. And look, there are people who live in this fucking city. So the mayor gave himself special executive powers. I don't know what that means. I don't think Springfield, Ohio has nukes, but they might. He gave himself special powers. And he also, as did the Republican congressman from Ohio who represents that district. I don't know his name because who cares? The Republican congressman who represents that district said this morning, there are rumors that Trump's going to come to Springfield. The Republican congressman said, please don't. Please don't come here. Leave these people alone. You guys have fucking mocked this community. These people are in horror. Bunch of weirdos passing through town now because they think that they're going to catch all the people from Haiti eating cats and doing, aquarium fish fries. All right, so that's what's going on there. Diddy's on suicide watch. They say that's normal. P. Diddy, of course, was arrested Monday or whatever. I don't know, something like that. They say that when a high-profile person facing the kind of charges that Diddy is facing, they put him on suicide watch. And I don't know the answer to this question, but was Epstein on suicide watch? I think he was. I don't think they know how to do suicide watch there. Because Epstein, like P. Diddy, was what do we call it? Sequestered. They were alone. They were in their own cell. There was the whole thing. There was a camera trained on Epstein. We're gonna keep a look on it. And then when he hung himself, or whatever happened there. Whatever happened there happened. It was like, oh yeah, we weren't recording. What are the chances of that? That's crazy. So they got Diddy on suicide watch. This is the more stuff that keeps coming out about Diddy. Every day, a little bit more, a little bit more. This fucking dude is cooked. He is cooked. Code mix. Tastes so good, you question its legality. All right, can I do that take again? Let me try that again. I'll try that again. Code mix. Fuck, I need to do it again. Can I get another one? Okay, take 3. I went blank. I completely went blank. This is what happens when you try to do reads. Once you start fucking up, you'll do like 15 fuck ups in a row. All right, here we go. Code mix. So good it should be illegal. Did we get it? All right, we got it. Very good. Moving on. So a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the Kentucky shooter. Remember that crazy dude who was like, I hate my life. And he went and bought a gun. And then he sat in some woods and he started shooting at people as they were driving down the highway. I don't know if he killed anybody. I don't know. It was a big story because it was a manhunt. Dude like disappeared into the woods. They found him. They found him. And he did. He did. He did exactly what I suspected, which is why I kind of lost interest in this story. I was all in this story for the first 3 days. I'm like, all right, day 2 of the manhunt. We're going back in the woods, the Smoky Mountains search for the Highway 75 shooter. So I was all into it. And then I lost interest because remember I came on the air and I said, I don't know how much more I can invest in this story when I really am starting to think that he just Brian Laundried himself. Remember Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito? He like disappeared into like the Everglades or something, and then he ended up killing himself. That's what happened. So it appears that this dude is dead. The Kentucky shooter. What was his name? Rob Allen Ruth or something weird like that. A body found in rural southeastern Kentucky is believed to be the man suspected of shooting and wounding 5 people on interstate highways. Authorities said Wednesday night. The search ended with 2 private sleuths joining in the dramatic discovery. Oh, so here's what happened. So again, we can go back to the Gabby Petito thing. Remember when everybody was looking for Brian Laundrie? He had disappeared into the Everglades, and then you had Dog the Bounty Hunter. He came out of nowhere and started showing up on TV going, the FBI don't know what they're doing. Hey, you put me out there, I'll find him in 24 hours. That's all you need to do is just deputize me, Dog the Bounty Hunter, and I'll find him in 24 hours. And so Dog the Bounty Hunter went out there. And you remember this story? It's the greatest story ever. After crowing like that on TV, I'm going to find him in 24 hours. He goes out in the woods, sprains his ankle, has to be airlifted to a special surgical guy in Denver from Florida. Dog the Bounty Hunter. The FBI don't know what they're doing. I'll find her in 24 hours, unless, of course, I twist my ankle. At which point, I'm an old man. I can't be trekking through the Everglades with a swollen ankle. So Dog the Bounty Hunter, he tried to do that with Petito, but in this case, two people who do a YouTube channel, they live in the area. They do a YouTube channel, and they do a YouTube channel on the history of the Hatfields and the McCoys. These people are McCoys. They're literally McCoys. That's their name. It's a married couple, and they're part of the Hatfield-McCoy family. And they do a YouTube channel on the Hatfields and McCoys. And they said, you know what? We should go out. We know this terrain. We should go out, and we should see if we can find the body. So here's what the dude said. Dude found the body. They found the body remember, the police were looking for it for 3 days. And these people went, well, I tell you, I lived in these hills my whole life. Here's how. And they found the body almost immediately. You know how they did it? Because the dude was like, all you have to do is look for vultures. And he spotted some vultures that were circling. And he went, let's go under what the vultures are circling. And they found the remains of this guy. What was his name again? Ken Allen Ruth. Joseph Couch. Ruth was the Trump assassin, right? All right, this was Couch. All right, so they found him. He blew his head off. He blew his head off, and apparently desecrated. Is desecrated the word to use? He fucked up his face so much killing himself that they're not entirely sure it's him, but they're almost totally sure it's him. They just don't have positive ID because he fucked up his face so bad. All right, there you have it. The Kentucky shooter. We can all go back to being... I'm still afraid to drive through the Smoky Mountains in Appalachia, but whatever. You don't have to be afraid. If you're oblivious to all the other things that you should be afraid of while you're in that part of the country, then just go ahead and enjoy. There's probably not going to be any more shooters. The shooter's been caught. What do we have here? Oh, here's a fun one. Now, my buddy Rob, Witch Kitty Rob, he sent me this morning, but I saw it last night, and I already had it ready to go. So I'd love to give you a production credit, Rob, but I'm sorry. This was was this in Lubbock? Did you guys see this video going viral last night? This is out of Lubbock, Texas. A dude, I guess, was barricaded in his funky hotel / motel / apartment, whatever it is. He was in there, and he was firing at police. So the police didn't want to mess with his nonsense. So they sent one of those robots. They sent a robot to arrest this guy. And oh my God, this robot, this RoboCop is real. Here it is. This is from Dallas, not Dallas. This is from Lubbock, Texas yesterday. Yeah, let's see. Hold on. We get some sound here?
Standoff where multiple shots were fired and one person was injured. 39-year-old Felix taking a closer look at a dramatic East Lubbock standoff where multiple shots were fired and one person was injured.
All right, first thing I need to point out about this guy. Okay, so this is the robot outside the window. He's barricaded in there. He's like, fuck, I can't even shoot this thing. I do appreciate that he's representing the South Side. White Sox. Oh my God. I tell you, as a White Sox fan, I'm used to this by now. I have seen so many, dudes doing illegal things while wearing White Sox hats. It's drug dealers, gangbangers, whatever. And now we got this guy wearing the proud White Sox Old English script logoed black hat. And he's going to fight a police robot.
39-year-old Felix De La Rosa was wanted for a parole violation. That's why officers tracked him to the hotel. But when he fired shots, they called in the Lubbock County SWAT team. At one point, we saw and heard him fire at a bomb squad robot. Take a listen. It sprayed tear gas into De La Rosa's hotel.
He's shooting at he's just shooting at steel. And then it breaks the window and it fires a tear gas canister in there. So now here he comes. He's coming out. He's like, okay, I got to get out of here. Wouldn't you think? Here's what I would think. I don't imagine, well, who knows what this guy thinks? He may not know. I don't think it's legal for those things to fire guns. I don't think that it can have like a machine gun on it, you know? So I would be thinking in this moment that I can get through the window and I can just run away from this machine, right? This thing, I don't know, how's it going to do on steps? I bet you I can go down steps quicker than it can. So we'll see. But again, I guess there's other cops out there. So this is just at this point fun. The other cops have got to just be all crowded around the one guy with the remote control. You're like, how do you make them go forward? And they're just screwing with it. Anyway, let's continue.
Hotel room. Initially, De La Rosa tried to fight the robot, even throwing sheets and what looked like towels at it.
Boom! There you go. That's my new band. That's our new band. Let's start a band and let's call ourselves Fight the Robot. Oh, fuck yeah. Fight the Robot. Fight the Robot is a cool name for a band. And there it was right there.
But that didn't stop the robot from deploying gas. We watched as De La Rosa crawled out of that window and onto the ground where the robot pinned him until officers took him into custody.
Taking a closer look at a dramatic...
How awesome was that? The robot pinned him and then rolled on top of him. Holy shit. I love that. Hold on, let's go back to that again.
Even throwing sheets and what looked like towels at it, but that didn't...
Look, now it's about to roll on. Like, just get up and run, dude. And what happened to your White Sox hat? That hat was pretty sweet.
Stop the robot from deploying gas. We watched as De La Rosa crawled out of that window and onto the ground.
Yeah, just rolling him over. It's pulling his pants down. It's humiliating him.
Where the robot pinned him until officers took him into custody.
Taking a closer look at a dramatic Islamic standoff.
That's the future. That's the way we got to go. You know why? Because robots aren't racist. Well, I guess unless they're programmed to be racist, but I think that would be an unnecessary thing. Who's that guy? What job? What department does he work in? The guy who programs the police robots to be racist. See, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think they're just going to indiscriminately go against criminals. Probably kill a lot of white people too. It's probably just going to be, All right. Arrested by robot. That happened in Lubbock yesterday. And by the way, let me just point this out, okay? Isn't this a little strange? I hope there's not like hungry school kids in Lubbock. I do. I hope that there's not like kids that go to school in Lubbock that are like, we only get one meal a day because the fucking police station has $1 million RoboCop. What? I hope they're spending their money wisely there in Lubbock. Look at it, like my hometown of Orland Park, Illinois. We got like got a fighter jet. Orland Park Police. No, we don't have a fighter jet. But there's like they've got a giant semi-trailer that is a mobile disaster unit that's painted like a police car. They've got tanks. My hometown police department, a suburb in Chicago, has 2 tanks. Military tanks that are like painted like police cars. And they're not for show. Although the only time you see them is parades. But they're theoretically for like something bad happening in Orland. I don't get it. Anyway, Lubbock, they don't have school lunch programs, but they've got like $1 million police robot that they use to fuck with deadbeats in hotels. Yeah. All right, let's go. What else do we have here? Arrested by robot. Oh, we got to talk about Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to say it right now. And sorry, white people. I'm a baseball fan. You know that. I'm an old school baseball guy. The greatest baseball player to ever live is a Japanese dude named Shohei. Is he Japanese? I think he's Japanese. He's a Japanese dude named Shohei Ohtani. It's official. He's the best baseball player in the history of baseball. Willie Mays was great. Babe Ruth, well, legendary. Shohei Ohtani is better than both of them. It's ridiculous what this guy did yesterday. What this guy did. First of all, let's talk about the greater thing. Shohei Ohtani has joined the 50-50 club. That's right. Baseball's 50-50 club. 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases. Congratulations, Shohei. You join a club that includes such legendary and iconic Major League Baseball names as none. Just you. He is the only person in the history of baseball to hit 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a season. That's insane. It's insane because those are 2 things that typically don't come together. It is power in being able to hit 50 home runs and speed the idea of being able to steal 50 bases. Shohei Ohtani, this Japanese kid, not a white kid from Pennsylvania, not an American baseball player. This Japanese kid is better than anybody else in the league, and it's not even close. I've never seen anything like it. He's amazing, and I am now ready to just go, he's the best fucking baseball player in history. By the way, 50-50, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Nobody's ever done that before. That's just talking about his offense. Oh, yeah, he's also an ace pitcher. He's also the best starting pitcher on your team, and he's the only member of the offensive 50-50 club. He's just truly amazing. It's just truly amazing. Now, one must wonder, how is he going to disappoint? Because that's the thing that, all the great baseball players, they find a way to disappoint in some way or another. They all turn out to be bad people. We already have an idea. We already have an idea about Ohtani. We think he likes to gamble. Yeah. Think about that. Think about this season. The season that he's had. This is a historic season. His first with the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, this historic season is a season that maybe shouldn't have happened at all because he should probably be suspended for gambling infractions. But no, he got his personal trainer to take. I have so many questions about the Shohei Ohtani gambling scandal. So in order to think that Shohei Ohtani had nothing to do with the gambling, in order to believe that, you must convince yourself that Shohei Ohtani, one of the wealthiest athletes in the world, allowed his personal trainer to have unfettered access to his debit cards and his banking account. I do not believe that. I think this was Shohei Ohtani making these bets, and I think he found a way to get it blamed on somebody who was disposable in his personal universe. But whatever, had that not happened, he would have been suspended, and we would not have had this historic and iconic year of baseball from Shohei Ohtani. Incredible. Let's talk about this one now. Let's talk about this one. All right, so last night, did you watch Thursday Night Football? Did you see the Thursday? Who cares? First of all, I'm not even an AFC guy, and it was the Jets. It was the Jets and Patriots. Now, I am sort of interested. Look, first of all, I hate the Patriots. The Patriots absolutely suck. It's so nice. It's just so nice that the Patriots suck. It is so nice that fans of the New England Patriots have to just sit in their own excrement and just accept the fact that they are not who they were, that it is truly over this time. I love that. So I'll tune in for that, for a little bit of that. And then, of course, there's the Jets. There's no reason to really, I don't have any. I'm not a New Yorker, so I'm not a Jets guy. But Aaron Rodgers, hate Aaron Rodgers. And, sometimes I like to just hate watch Aaron Rodgers. Pick it. I've been doing that with Aaron Rodgers his entire career, and nobody ever picks Aaron Rodgers. Anyway, this went down last night. Now, there's been has it been since last year? It may have been since last year. Robert Saleh, the head coach of the New York Jets. I don't know if he's on the hot seat. I think he's on the hot seat. I think that's safe to say. But his relationship with Aaron Rodgers has been criticized from the peanut gallery now for about 6 months, saying that Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh have absolutely no relationship, that Aaron Rodgers is basically running the team, and that Saleh has accepted his role as the guy who will just do whatever Aaron says because Robert Saleh wants to keep his job, and Aaron Rodgers is a favorite of the owners, and that whole thing. So last night during the game, we got this interesting piece of video that maybe do I not have it? No, we got it. Here we go. Starting to get very concerned. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Is that the video? Yeah, here's the video. Okay. So here's the video that went viral. Everybody last night during the game was like, oh, this is going well. Oh, these two look great. So this is Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh, head coach and quarterback of the New York Jets, on the sideline following a touchdown. This is after a touchdown, so it should be celebratory. Tell me if you can read anything here in the body language. Again, Aaron Rodgers and his head coach, Robert Saleh. 13 plays, 91 yards, all of last season. Okay, first of all, look at that. Aaron Rodgers is a dick. Look at Aaron Rodgers looking at his head coach, staring the head coach down. This is Aaron Rodgers, I guess, coming off the field after a touchdown. Watch again. It appears that the coach wants to hug, and Aaron Rodgers shoves him away and then gives him a look and says something to him. This was all the talk last night. Hug, no hug, get the fuck away from me. You're my head coach and I fucking hate you, right? That's what it looks like. That is really what it looks like. Hug, no, huh? All right, so you know me. I want to have confirmation bias here. I think that Aaron Rodgers is a complete tool bag, so I want that to be the story. I want the story to be that he just doesn't get it. He hates his coach, and he's so much of a prima donna that he doesn't care that national TV audience is watching. He's going to disrespect his coach openly like that. That is not what happened. This is what happens when both of these guys were asked, like, right after the game by two different people, what was that about? And guess what? Their stories matched up. Aaron Rodgers walking off the field was asked, what was that interaction with Robert Saleh? You pushed him in the chat. Aaron Rodgers gave an answer to that. And then at the very same time, Robert Saleh was being asked that, and Robert Saleh gave the same answer. Both of them also repeated the same matching answers as to what we saw there in that video during the post-game press conferences. But it's more interesting to me that they were both immediately asked that after the game while walking off the field, and they both gave the same answer. So what is the answer? What were we looking at there? Were we looking at a prima donna quarterback telling his much disrespected coach to back the fuck up and don't tell me what to do or don't touch me or anything like that? Because that's kind of what it looks like. I'll show it to you one more time. 13 plays, 91 yards, all of last season. 13 plays, 91 yards, all of last season. There you go. Twice. All right, no, that is not at all what we're looking at here. Let me tell you, let me read this to you. Do I have the story? Let's stop sharing it. Here's what both of them said. It was apparent, and I'm going to show it again. I'll show it to you again after I tell you exactly what was being said. To quote New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, everyone can relax. Social media was buzzing with conspiracy theories during the Jets' 24-3 win over the New England Patriots on Thursday night after a video clip of Rodgers and Jets head coach Robert Saleh went viral, showing the two appearing to get into a heated exchange on the sidelines after the New York Jets scored a touchdown to go up 14-0 with 8:32 left in the second quarter. Lip-reading experts were weighing in with their best guesses about what Rodgers said to the fourth-year head coach, but Saleh and Rodgers both cleared things up pretty quickly, squashing any debate about there being bad blood between him and his QB. So here's what Saleh said. Part of the things that we've been talking about was to just give the defense a 2-score lead, Saleh said. And it was a 2-score lead at that point, thanks to our offense. So I guess he just wanted to see something on defense. All right, so that's Saleh. Rodgers confirmed as much when he talked to reporters after the game as well. Rodgers said he's not a big hugger. Like, Saleh's not a big hugger. So I didn't know he was coming in for the hug. So Saleh came in for the hug, as we saw, and Rodgers didn't know that he was coming in for it. Apparently what Saleh is, according to Aaron Rodgers here in the next thing, is what Saleh does is he pushes you in the chest, like, let's go. Like, he gives, you know that? You've seen those people like boom, 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 like that? That's Saleh's thing, not a hugger, that. And Saleh and Aaron Rodgers had been saying, or Saleh had said about the game plan, Aaron, give our defense a 14-point lead tonight. Give our defense a 14-point lead. And it was at that point where they had a 14-point lead, okay? So Rodgers comes off, the coach comes in for a hug, Aaron misreads it and does the other thing that the coach does, and then says to him like a boss, not like a dick. There's a difference between when you say something to somebody and you say it like a dick and you say it like, how about that? So basically what Aaron Rodgers was saying there to him was 14-point lead. Like, we did it. but it doesn't look that way. It looks like he's going, get your fucking hands off of me. Rodgers confirmed, he said he's not a big hugger usually, so I didn't know that he was going to go in for the hug. He likes to do the 2-hand on the chest push. That's his thing. But he talks a lot about 2-score leads. So I just kind of gave him that push that he does and said 2-score lead. Now let's watch it again, okay? Because now in that context, maybe it just seems like 2 alpha males, 2 dudes being like, how about that, motherfucker? Yeah! Like that. But if you're looking for problems and you're looking to be gossipy, I can see how you can go the other way with it. All right, here we go. One more time. Let's watch it from the beginning. Remember now, he's saying to him, coach comes in for the hug. Rodgers misreads it. He does the other thing that they do, which is pushing on the chest. And he says to him, what Rodgers is saying to him is 2-score lead. So let's see that. There you go. 2-score. I didn't see the 2-score lead. I got to be honest. Let's try that again.
Last season, twice.
91
yards, all of last season.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll tell you, it still looks like Aaron Rodgers is being a dick because I think he's got resting dickhead face. I think that's just it. I think that's the problem. I think he always looks like being a dick. But anyway, not the smoking gun to prove that the Jets are in complete disarray and that Saleh and Rodgers cannot get along. Not the proof that we thought it was last night, at least not according to the 2 men involved. What else do we have here? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's wrap up here today. Let's get out of here pretty well. This isn't that quick. We got a couple of things we can do here. A couple of things this weekend I'd like y'all to watch. That's right. I'm going to give you some TV suggestions this weekend. We're going to watch a couple of trailers here. Let's watch this first one. This is new on Paramount Plus. Apparently, it's been out for a couple of days now. But I'm going to watch it this weekend because I love this kind of thing. Do you like the music documentary? Oh, I love the music documentary, even when I don't like the music. One of my favorite music documentaries of all time is Ken Burns' Country Music. That is so interesting and so fascinating and made me a country music fan in areas where I really wasn't before. But see, I don't it doesn't just have to be a documentary about my favorite band. I just love stories about the entertainment industry and, how the sausage is made and all that. So there's a good one this weekend for you to watch if you're so interested, especially if you're Gen X. If you're Gen X like me, this has got to be right up your wheelhouse. Paramount Plus, it's called Nothing But a Good Time. The story of, or the uncensored story of, what is it? Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal bands. Yeah! I fucking hated hair metal. I thought that was the worst. I thought those guys were just the biggest poser D-bags. Me and my friends, we used to think it was funny that Motley Crue thought they were tough. Motley Crue was like, yeah, man, we'll come to your town and we'll kick your ass. I'm like, dude, you're 95 pounds soaking wet. All right? You ain't kicking anybody's ass. You're completely whacked out on smack. How did men of our time, how did we allow those bitches like Motley Crue and shit, fucking Guns N' Roses, how did we allow these dudes to walk around like we're badasses? Yeah. Some were. Some of those metal dudes were. But no, not the ones that were always at. Tommy Lee is a pussy. Tommy Lee, I know Tommy Lee is tall, but are you kidding me? He's a big, tall, skinny kid from the band. I'm not worried about Tommy Lee kicking my ass. Anyway, I was never a fan of that stuff. I always thought it was bad. With that said, love some of the music. I mean, the music, you don't have to be into the genre to appreciate it as a important part of your life's musical score. Come on. 1988, I'd have been like, Poison sucks. But in 2018, I'm like, play some more Poison, because it's music that is completely tethered to your memories and all that stuff. So I'm interested in this, even if this hair metal scene of the 80s wasn't really my bag. I do want to watch this. I'm looking forward to it. Here it is, Paramount Plus. Nothing But a Good Time, the uncensored story of 80s hair metal.
In the 80s, it was an exciting time in music. It was amazing.
You had to have lived it.
Go all the way. More hair, more clothes, tighter pants.
That is what rock and roll is about.
This heavy metal music, is all of it bad?
To me, they're all satanic. I don't want anything to do with it.
On tour, every human depravity came out.
He's throwing meat and blood at the audience.
I wanted to play so hard that my hands would bleed. I would have blood on my snare all the time.
He modified the con piece and put explosives in it. We just heard a big boom. The thing backfired into his balls.
They made it seem so awesome to just have sex and do drugs.
It was nothing but a good time, not the f***ing life I live.
I feel like I'm gonna die, so I probably shouldn't be in this band.
When you have that level of dominance, there's nowhere else really to go except for off the cliff.
Randy winds up taking a joyride.
I'm awakened by boom! That I was gonna take care of him. I brought him back home in a box.
I had to change my life, get back on track.
The music withstood the test of time.
They really changed the game.
We bet on ourselves, and when it paid off, it was awesome.
You didn't realize what a magical time you were in.
All right. Don't ain't nothing but a Paramount Plus subscription. That looks good. That looks good. It looks like something I'm going to enjoy watching tonight at like 11 o'clock at night. If you're wondering, if you find yourself at 11 o'clock tonight going, wonder what Pugs is doing right now, good chance I'll be watching. Maybe I'll be by 11 o'clock. I would think I might be in episode 2. I don't know, but whatever. 3-part episode. Nothing but a good time. That's one suggestion for us to watch this weekend. Here's the other thing, though. I started watching this last night. And I got like 20 minutes into it, and I went, oh, no, I got to do this right. I can't just, because, I have this bad habit of, I usually fall asleep around 11:15. And I usually start to I take my melatonin at 10, and by 11, I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. So I started watching like 15 minutes, first 15 minutes of it, and when I knew I was going to go to sleep, and I hate to fall asleep while watching something because then I just got to start it over. Anyway, it was a bad timing on my part. Started watching it last night, and then I said to myself, nope, stop it. I got to stop it. I got to watch this when I'm awake. I want to pay attention to this. Netflix, Monster, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Come on. This looks awesome. You know how I know it looks awesome? Let's watch the trailer. Brand new on Netflix, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Do people know who Lyle and Eric? I mean, we do. We do, right? Because we're all kind of the same age group. We remember these dudes. They were the Hollywood rich kid playboy, my life is great because I'm awesome. Their dad was a film producer. And I don't know, daddy told them no, and they killed daddy, and they said that daddy was abusive, and that's why they killed him. It was a big, messy story. I don't really remember how it played out, which is why I'm so excited to watch the new Netflix series. This is, by the way, Ryan Murphy. He of Nip Tuck, he of Glee, he of American Horror Story, he of O.J. Simpson, he of, what else? He's got something else we just talked about the other day that we're watching. What's the other thing he's doing that we're watching? I don't know, whatever. He's very prolific. Aaron Rodgers, that's what it is. He's over on FX, and he's producing the Aaron Rodgers thing. What is this guy's contract? Right? Does Ryan Murphy have contracts with Fox and Netflix? Because I remember he was exclusively signed to FX. He was doing all of his shows on FX or Fox properties, which is Glee and American Horror Story. But then he jumped to Netflix. Netflix broke the bank and gave him like the biggest production deal ever, and he was exclusively on Netflix. But I think that might be over. And I think he might still be owing things to Netflix, but has signed a new deal with FX. Money on money on money. Anyway, here it is. This is Ryan Murphy's. This is Monsters, by the way. This is another anthology series. Ryan Murphy made the anthology series a big thing with American Horror Story. This is the second installment in the Ryan Murphy Monsters anthology universe. The first one was last year's incredibly well received, although I didn't like it. Dahmer. Remember Dahmer from last year? So that was Ryan Murphy's Monsters, the Dahmer story. This year is Ryan Murphy's Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. And I am very excited.
Do you remember the first dog we had? I went to the pet shop to buy one of those collars that have spikes on them. You tug on the leash and it hurts. But it only hurts when it disobeys. People think that those collars are cruel. I think it's the other collars that are cruel. Because they create dogs that misbehave. You know what I think? I think that I didn't hit you hard enough. So as a father, that is my fault. And I'm sorry.
I hate my kids. May as well come out and say it.
Blame it on the rain that was falling, falling. Blame it on the stars.
They're parasites, actually. They've turned us into people we don't want to be. And I regret having you.
Mom, you can't say that.
Please shut up, for Christ's sake.
Kitty.
Nope. I could have been a movie star like Kim Novak. And you're what I got?
You're gonna be like the Kennedys. That's why it was so hard on us. But I suddenly saw how cruel it was. What was going on in that house. And it's never gonna end. You can never escape from it. And I was always gonna choose my brother over my parents.
I see what happens when kids don't get the nurturing they need.
What's going on with you and the boys? I won't tell anyone.
You did this. You destroyed our family.
Oh, you better damn well. Holy. Boom. How great does that looks pretty good, man. That looks pretty crazy good. So I'm going to be watching that. So don't you go telling me there ain't nothing to watch this weekend. I just offered you a 3-part series documentary about the history of the hair metal scene on Sunset Strip. And I'm giving you, it looks like 10 episodes there. 10 episodes of the new Ryan Murphy's Monster installment, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Again, this is 2. Last year was Dahmer. That was the first Monsters, Jeffrey Dahmer. Next, they're already working on the 3rd one, and I'm pleased to report, because when I was looking into the Lyle and Eric Menendez story earlier today, I found that they're currently filming next season of Monsters. Guess what next season of Monsters is? Now, I don't know if the subject is as interesting or is certainly not as contemporary as Dahmer or the Menendez brothers. It's Ed Gein. It's Monsters Ed Gein. Now, woo! I don't know if you guys know anything about Ed Gein, but go ahead, Wikipedia that dude. He was an early serial killer. I want to say maybe 1950s or something. I don't know. Black and white times. Remember the times when everything was black and white? But here's why that's interesting to me. This is why I'm very interested in the Ed Gein story. Charlie Hunnam is playing Ed Gein. They have cast Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy to play Ed Gein, the Wisconsin serial killer. All right, so I'm in. So that's next season. But first, we got to get through this one. We got to get through Lyle and Eric Menendez. So why not? We're at the end of the show here. Why not just spend a couple of minutes? I remember when the Eric and Lyle Menendez story was going on, and I remember just thinking they were just Hollywood little D-bags and ungrateful, and so they killed their parents to get their inheritance. That was the most simple and seemingly rudimentary way to explain that whole situation. But over the years, I guess that hasn't been the case. Like, it's been pretty widely reported that their parents were like really fucking awful, and it looks like this series is going to really lay into how incredibly awful that family is. And I see that scene. Like, I see the scene where they're in the therapist's office, and Chloe Savini, by the way, looks to be playing Kitty Menendez. Chloe Savini says, as the mother, she says, I regret having you. I wish you were never born, or whatever she says. And the kid says, Mom, you can't say that. And I have known people in my life, like other families, kids I went to school with or whatever growing up. I have known people who've had mothers who were like that. Like, I think if you see that in the trailer and you're shocked by it, I think good for you. I think you got lucky. But I knew one kid in particular. When I was growing up where his mother was just evil. His mother was just tried to control him and I'm not just talking like at 12, because I wasn't friends with him at 12. I'm talking like 16 through 30 about how just evil his mother was, who would say stuff like that. You owe me because you destroyed my life. You owe me because, oh God, just. And so I acknowledge that those kinds of things are out there. But that is such a foreign concept to me, and I hope it is to you as well. But maybe it isn't. Maybe you grew up in a home with parents who belittled you, with a father who was fucking overbearing and cruel, and I'm just trying to toughen you up for the awful world of, if that was your thing, that's awful. Or if you grew up with, a mom that was like, I said last weekend, the documentary series that I watched was the David Chase story about the Sopranos. And he talked about how Livia Soprano, Tony Soprano's mom, was based on his own mom. And he talked very openly about having a mother who was a hateful, cruel, and mean person. So they're out there, man. But geez, I could not fathom that kind of talk from a parent, from a grandparent to a grandchild, from a mother to a son, where you're telling them that, like, you wish they weren't born and that they ruined your life. But shit, man, it is more common. That kind of fucked up raising of kids is more common. I've got another friend. Actually, I can talk about this now because they're older, but and actually, maybe I've been proven right because they're older. I have a friend back in Illinois, and how do I say this without giving away too many details? He has a son, and I used to tell him, I'm like, you are fucking making that kid so soft. And trust me, I was raised by a mother, so I didn't have an overbearing thing. But and when I say soft, I mean like spoiling him and all of that kind of stuff. And it was because the parents were going through a divorce and there was a custody thing. And like both of these parents were like competing to, I mean, I guess this is not a unique story, but it was like, oh no, he loves me more because I took him to Disney World. No, he loves me more because all of those kinds of things, the two parents. And I remember thinking that even though they were competing to show how they loved the child more, I remember like hearing about the mother, who, it's fine because I don't talk about her. I don't know her anymore. But I remember hearing about the mother saying things to the kids like, if you ever choose what your father says over me on any subject ever, I will never love you again. You will be dead to me. Like a mother saying that to like an 11, 12-year-old, that's a fucking crazy person. And then to just see that, the Menendez brothers, and to see their upbringing depicted in that way, it's kind of, God. No matter how shortchanged you feel in your life, moving around like, how come I didn't get that big promotion at work? God hates me. If you're like going around living in that sort of vibe, but you had a good mother, like a good mom, then fuck it. You are so ahead of the game. You are so ahead of the game. Nothing will screw you up more than a fucked up mom. A fucked up mom will make a fucked up adult every single time. So there you go. Let's hear it for the moms. And I'd also say let's hear it for the dads, but yeah, there's a lot of asshole dads. I mean, dads are almost allowed to be assholes a lot of the time. But it's about that scene in the Melendez. I didn't want you. I could have been an act. Oh, fuck you, man. You horny little slut. If you had maybe kept your legs crossed, I'd never be here in the first place. But you wanted something from my rich daddy, the film producer, and you had me. By the way, I always thought Lyle and Eric Melendez were twins. They didn't look like twins in that. All right, that's going to be it for the show. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. We do this every Monday through Friday. We do current events, news, hot topics, whatever. It's just me, a narcissistic middle-aged man, screaming into a live stream every day at noon. As I always say, tip the show if you support this kind of talk radio. It doesn't exist anywhere else. Nope. Have a good weekend. I'm trying to think if there's something else that I need to say, and I just don't think that there is.